without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head. I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work, go to work, go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, go to work, go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my grind. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm on grind like every day, 'cause I want everything. I can do anything. Check my resume. It's people against you. They see what you've been through. But look in the mirror, tap into your spirit. It's power within you. Like LinkedIn, I'm locked in, get the job done when I clock in. I weighed out my options, put the work in, that's action, no lacking, just stacking. Big dreams I'm attracting, no accidents, that's fate. Just go in and have a little faith. And faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead, I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head, I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my grind, yeah. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, now go nuts, go nuts, go nuts, donuts, 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 donuts.
Hey there, I'm Trevor Houston, the creator of the Who You Know Summit, and I'd like to welcome you to the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
On our program, we'd like to show you the job search like you've never seen.
Everything from getting noticed by employers, how to properly format your resume, and how to network effectively using LinkedIn to drive recruiters to your profile.
We even take suggestions from our amazing community.
So if you want to learn all things job search, go ahead and subscribe now.
Focus! It's all about the job search. So if you want to learn how to land that next success, you heard them. All you got to do is subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on a thing. Welcome to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who you know? Who you know can make all the difference in your job search.
And your career, your business, your relationships, and your life, guys. Who you know is what it takes. Guys, I'm super excited to bring you another special episode of Media Blitz, all right, where we take over the social media news feed and where this show can be your show. If you would like to know how to pair to restream pairs, just hit me up in a DM and we'll connect your channels, and this show could be your show. So we're super excited you're here with us. Who do we got in the audience, Mark?
Oh, we got Sean O'Neill. Hey, Sean. We got Hope Mengita. We got Chandra Thomas. Hey, Chandra. Thanks
Love
for tuning in. All.
David Kavanaugh in the house. I see Kristen Patton. Oh, Dr. Jennifer Blalock in the house. She'll be with us in just a moment. Guys, we are super appreciative that you joined us. And you know what we like to do? We always like to kick this thing off with a prayer for our audience and for our listeners. So if everybody online could bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful, amazing, glorious day that you've gifted us with today. Let us use this day to bring your name glory and to really lift you up, Lord. We appreciate you. There's a lot of people out there that may be going through a hard time, maybe struggling, maybe having some challenges or some difficulties going on in their world. And Lord, I ask that you be with them today. Give them hope in all these things in your name. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
All right, we got a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be thankful for. We've got a lot of landings and a lot of people that are back to their what, Mark?
Back to the cash flow.
Let's go.
Get your cash flow guns ready. Who do we got? We got Danielle Fox.
Let's go.
Danielle Fox, congratulations. Barack Kringle.
Yeah,
Sheila Benavides.
Congrats.
Paul Reisdorfer.
Let's go.
And there's a lot more tagged in the comments.
Let's
Look at that.
Let's go.
I'm burning it all.
Hold on.
It's like I'm in an air tunnel, money grabber.
You like that?
Congratulations, everyone. By the way, we always like to give these shout outs because, number one, congratulations to you who landed, but also to give you guys hope who are still in the search and also remind you to pay it forward. So when you land, make sure that you are paying it forward, that you're lending a hand and resources to those that are coming in the Career Transition Network behind you.
Absolutely. Pay it forward. You know, we have this thing that I've been teaching. And it's a pretty cool little concept, right? How many online, has anybody ever seen that movie, Pay It Forward, right? You remember that movie where the little kid...
Is that Macaulay Culkin?
No, it's not Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, it was
man.
the other one.
Come on, man. It's the guy from I See Dead People.
Yes,
you know
that one.
About?
Oh, yes.
That little kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes up with the idea to make impact and to change the world, right? And his idea was the Pay It Forward concept, which is essentially where you do something for 3 people that is something big, something they can't do on their own, right? You do something for 3 people, and then you teach those 3 people to pay it forward to 3 more, right? And those people to 3 more and 3 more and 3 more. And the crazy part about it is it starts to compound pretty quickly. And what happens is after just 12 rounds of that, if you do that 12 times, it's over 1.5 million people. The impact of just paying it forward to 3, guys, it's pretty amazing.
I'm going to mic drop on that.
You like that?
Yep, mic drop on that, guys, because, look, when we're in the search, we feel like, you know, we're alone. We're having to do it on our own, and that is not the case. It's not the case, guys. There is a huge network out there, the Who You Know Network, the Career Search Network. It is national, so lots of resources out there for you to plug into.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm super excited to announce our first guest of the Social Media Blitz today. Our first guest is an author of the Perfect Rejection Resume. The Perfect Rejection Resume. He's also an educator and public speaker. If I can give a warm, who you know, welcome for Dr. Eli Joseph.
Dr. Eli,
in the house.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Man, I'm excited you're here. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of racking my brain up a little bit and trying to figure out what the heck is a rejection resume. And like, how can our listeners use this document to help them in their job search? Well, tell me, what is this rejection email or resume all about?
So we know what a traditional resume is, right? We basically, we advertise and we promote our success, our acknowledgments, and what a rejection resume is the complete opposite. What we're using this document to showcase our failures, to showcase our lowlights, and see if we can take the lessons that we learned from the past and then move forward and fail forward in order for us to pay it forward as well.
Ooh, hold on, say that again. Hold on.
That one. Fail forward.
He said, you gotta you gotta fail forward so you can learn forward and pay it forward. How'd you say that? Say it one more time.
So you're basically using the rejection resume, right, to take the lessons that you learned from the past, to learn how to fail forward, and take those lessons to pay it forward as well.
Ooh, okay, I like that. I like that. But okay, so can you give me maybe kind of like a practical application of this? So is it literally a document, or tell me what this really is, or is it just something like I'm doing a post on LinkedIn, or can you frame that up and tell us a little bit more about what this is?
So it's like a 1-page to 2-page document. It's like a resume.
Okay.
You're basically you're answering the questions: how many times you failed school, or how many times you dropped out of school.
Mark, how many times?
As far as the jobs, as far as the applications, how many applications you sent to Google or JP Morgan? How many applications that you've been rejected to? As far as the acknowledgments and the awards, how many awards that you've gotten second place on? You failed and you didn't win. You want to write that out, and you want to share it on LinkedIn, because most people, they tend to gravitate towards the comeback story, the recovery story, the rags to riches. We love that. We love that. So what we're doing is we're trying to make it much more organized, where you have a document that you can fall back towards and share it as well.
It's kind of like the Patriots when they came back against the Atlanta Falcons. Remember when they were getting whooped up by the Atlanta Falcons and they came back? Everybody likes a good comeback story. So I understand that. Well, let me ask you this. Would you send this to an employer, though? Would you send this in, like, with your resume, like your traditional resume, and say, hey, like, here's all the stuff I'm good at, but then here's all this other stuff that, like, I messed up pretty bad. Would you do that?
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay. He was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
However, what I would do is I would share it. So my employer may see it online. My employer may see that document online. We want to showcase the best version of yourself to the employers, but they may log online. They may see your story on LinkedIn.
Got it.
To have a full context of who you are, because when you're interviewing, you're basically presenting the best version of yourself.
Right.
And we all know that's not reality of the situation. So when they look online and they say, wow, okay, you know what, your post is going viral, so you do have a presence online. You are marketable as well. And you can take the things that you struggle with and turn it into positive. And you turn the tables that way as well.
Is that what you're seeing happen when people post it online? Are they? Is it going viral, like you said? Like they're putting out their low light or low reel, the challenges, the things that they've failed, and then all of a sudden it just takes off? Or what are you actually seeing happen?
So when people share their rejection resume, it's funny because I got this concept from Coach Darren Roberts, and when he posted, it went viral.
Really?
It was crazy. Yeah, and Coach Darren Roberts, he was a former NFL coach, and he received his law degree from the Harvard Law School. And when he shared it, I actually hit him up privately and like, can I take this concept? And he's like, yeah, please, no, take it away. And when I shared my rejection resume, it took off as well.
Okay.
Dr. Janice Gassam, who was a colleague of mine, she shared her rejection resume and she got good impressions as well. So I think it's a good trend to have. Now, I don't want to incite a rejection resume challenge. It's up to you guys to do so. But I would say that those who share that other side of them, rather than just sharing the positive and just sharing the ultimate high life of themselves, they tend to have much more of a great story behind them, and people tend to gravitate towards that story.
Well, let's see if we can do an example, Mark. So, what's something that you have you failed at? What's something that like you wouldn't put it online, but you know what I'm saying? But like I'll be just real quick. So we're in the financial services industry, right? I failed both my securities licenses. Shoot, I failed them pretty quick.
The first time.
Yeah. I mean, I passed them. It took me a few tries, right? I mean, I had to keep going and try again. I'm not book smart, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm not that book smart. I'm like street smart. So what about you? What?
I think one of my biggest failures was as I was getting out of college, my goal was to go work with Eli Lilly, the pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And I failed their personality test.
Oh. Well, come on. We all knew that.
I failed
we
the
all knew that was
personality
going to
test,
happen. Come on,
and
Mark.
I didn't get hired. I failed at getting hired, and that was. I mean, when I left college, like that was the target. That was why I went into marketing and the school that I did. So that was a big failure.
What'd they say was wrong with your personality, bro?
I don't know. I didn't get the results, but after I took the whatever the questionnaire or whatever the eval was, I just got ghosted.
I got ghosted. Man. Eli, tell me something that you put on your rejection resume. What's something that you failed at?
I got a lot, but the one rejection that I've gotten was from Columbia University. That was my dream school. Okay. It's ironic that I'm teaching there right now. But that
hold on. Mic drop. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me give you a mic drop. Yeah, you got rejected, and now you're teaching there, man. That's what's up. I like that. That's perseverance, awesome. Man.
It's a good comeback story. It's another failure that I've actually encountered. While I was in school, I failed 2 courses, and I was on the brink of academic probation. And the only way that I can get out of that situation if I graduate. If I graduated, and I was a sophomore at the time, so if I graduated the next year, I don't have to face that fate of just being in academic probation. So I went on the next semester. I took 10 classes. I was going AWOL. I took 10 classes and I got out of there.
So well, that brings up a good question, which Dr. Eli is tips, right? I know people have different coping mechanisms, different ways to rebound. What are some of your tips for rebounding from failure?
So it's more so intuitive. It's an intuitive tip. We tend to brush everything that we failed or our struggles underneath the rug. And the major tip that I have for our listeners is to share it. Feel free to share that struggle. Feel free to share that failure. So that way you're developing a network of supporters as well. Once you share, and it may be as far as, like it can be embarrassing to share what you struggle with. Mm-hmm. My first tip is to get it out there. Once you get it out there, no one can use it against you.
Shine some light on it. Yep, shine some light on it. Don't hide it, because if you hide it, you're not accountable, right?
Exactly.
Well, and no one can help you if they don't know, right? So we talk a lot about that. So if you're going through a challenge or a problem or a struggle and you need help, nobody's going to help you if no one knows. Mm-hmm. So if you go ahead and share that and get that information out there to the world, all of a sudden, the people in your universe start to come to your aid and start to try to help you. But if nobody knows about it, then no one can do that. So
I when we were talking earlier about, the rejection resume, and, that's not something that you'd bring with you and give to, an interviewer, right, as an interviewee. But there is a key there that you could leverage, which is talking about your failure. And I know sometimes you get asked that question, like, what's one of your biggest failures and how did you overcome that, right? But if it's not brought up, I think that that's something that you absolutely could bring forward in answering a question, one of their questions a different way, like what's one of your strengths or what's one of your other things, and then tie in one of your failures as an example, as a story, right? Facts tell, stories sell.
That's right.
And make yourself relatable, right, in that interview. Because yes, you want to put your best foot forward, the best version of you, but you also want to, be approachable, right, and not kind of up here, put yourself up here, but make yourself human.
Yeah, stories is a great way to, in your interviews and things like that as well. So yeah, I agree with that. Dr. Eli, so this is actually a book, right? So this is not just a document. It's not just a concept. Like you wrote this book. What else is in the book? Because I get it. I'm hearing it. I'm like, okay, the rejection resume, but it's also titled The Perfect Rejection Resume. So is the book talking about how, the actual steps and the formula to do this the right way? Is there a wrong way to do it?
There is no right or wrong way. And the reason why I put the perfect in there is because even though rejection and failure is not perfect, it perfectly fits your story.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I put the perfect rejection resume, because everyone is not perfect. We know that. However, what what makes you you is the fact that you struggle through, hurdles, and you've overcome that.
Yeah.
And that's basically what makes your story perfect for you.
100%. All right, so tell me what else is in the book, okay? What are some other big takeaways that the audience, if they were to go pick up this book, what can they expect?
So here's another takeaway. Rent is due every day. Rent is due every single day. And the currency that you're paying off your rent, which is the landlord, is your effort.
Oh, okay.
That's another concept. Another concept that I'm also going to speak on this in a future TED Talk in September. Time is your biggest competitor.
Time is your biggest competitor.
Time is your biggest competitor.
Amen to that.
So okay, so let's go back real quick. You said that effort is how you pay the rent. Okay. Mark, what do you always say? There's two things you can control.
Mm-hmm. Your attitude.
Your attitude and your activity, right? So your effort, what you're doing and how you're applying, right? Mm-hmm. How you're applying yourself. Regardless of the circumstances, right? It's how you handle that situation in front of you, how you handle the mountain that may seem to be too tall to climb, right? Like how you handle that and how you overcome that in your efforts. But you also said time. What did you say about time, Dr. Eli?
Time is your biggest competitor. Time is your biggest competition.
I'm going to drop the mic on that one too.
Yeah. There's never enough time, y'all. I mean, it feels like, you know what I'm saying? But yet we have so much time. Like, that's the weird thing about time is it's like, it feels like there's not enough hours in the day to get everything done that you need to do. But you also have to have patience because you got to understand that, like, there's this journey, right? You want it now. We're in a society where it's like, I want it now. So you have to have patience, but yet sometimes it feels like you just can't get it all done.
Well, and it all ties together too, right? Dr. Eli, I mean, you had talked about, some of the tips to rebound, right? To come back from failure. But what a lot of people do is they let that paralyze them. They let that cause indecisiveness, inaction, sometimes even apathy, right? Do you see that as a byproduct quite often in your trainings and in who you work with?
Of course. When they fail, they're reluctant to try again. They don't want to try again. They don't want to fail again. They don't want to fail spectacularly. I'll say this, like if you're going to fail and everyone's going to laugh at you, you're doing something, because I'm pretty sure those who are laughing, they don't want to try what you just tried just now.
I love what you just said.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to give you a mic on that one, okay? Because here's the deal. Listen, if I'm going to fail so big. I'm going to crash the plane. It's going to go up in flames.
A blaze of glory.
People are going to be like, whoa. Like, I think about it. We've had some things that I would consider them failures, but also successes. Like, so do you remember when we did the City Works event?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it was a success in the fact that we packed the house. There was like, gosh, I don't know, 300 something people there.
Yeah, like 350, 400 people.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, we packed the house, too many people, like literally too many people. And I go back and I watch the B-roll footage, and this was during the middle of the summer here in Texas, and people were melting. They were like, I'm watching the footage, the videographer footage. People are like, it was like the worst experience ever. Like, I look at it and I go, wow, this was a massive failure. But at the same time, it was an epic, massive failure. Like, we were able to pack the house. A lot of people got jobs. A lot of people got landed. Like, there were some positives along with some negatives. But like I said, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to crash the plane on the way down. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Well, and that's also key. I mean, how do you shift your mindset, right, to focus on the positives coming out of failure, right?
Oh, yeah. I come up with this concept here. And it's an urban concept. It's more so the Black Air Force One mentality. Trevor, you said that when you going to fail, you're going to fail and crash.
Let's go.
Yeah. That's the Black Air Force One mentality. And when we think of the Black Air Force Ones, we have this negative connotation because people think that, those who wear those type of sneakers is like, oh my gosh, they're out to do anything by any means. And that's the mentality that I want people to have. You want to try things and make sure you get it done by any means. And if you're going to fail, try again.
Yes.
Try again. Yeah, try again. And if you get savvy when it comes to trying new things as well. And most people, they don't succeed. And I've read this, it's a statistic that 92% of people fail at doing things. So what are the other 8% of the people that are, what are they doing differently? And I'm pretty sure one of the major things that they're trying is they're just trying new things in different methods. And they are not afraid of failing again.
Well, and here's the other thing for the audience to understand is that I talk to people about this all the time. It's that you're not going to be an expert or a pro at anything you do the first time you do it.
Yeah, there's no overnight experts.
Why do you expect that? Why do you expect perfection? People don't want to try because they're not going to be perfect or what have you. They're afraid to fail. No, expect to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to try something and you're not going to be good at it the first time you do it, right? Like the first time Michael Jordan shot a basketball, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, I don't know, maybe he did. Maybe he's that good. But he probably missed it. He probably missed the shot the very first time. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be an expert the first time you do anything. Do you remember our first show, Mark? Mm-hmm. Do you remember how much of a train wreck it was?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how awful it was?
It was dry, boring.
You know, we're getting better, you know, but for, you know, almost 400 episodes in, right, 4 years, like things got better, you know, but you're never going to, imagine if we would have said, oh, after that first episode, if we quit and said, man,
this isn't for us.
That was embarrassing. We're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. Right?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Oh, you know, and it would have been, it ties into, right, your failures also and how you come out of that are being watched. People are watching you all the time, right? And so especially if you're failing at work or failing at, you know, something in the public space, people are watching. But, you know, that also for us in the context of your statement was if we'd have stopped then, who loses?
Oh, the
right?
audience loses, right? Like so many people lose. Our families lose, right? The community loses. So guys, you need to look at this as an obligation. It's your duty. Success is a duty. I hear Grant Cardone talk about that. Success is a duty. It's your duty. It's your obligation to your family, to the community, the people around you, for you to be successful so that you can serve and help and pour out on other people. So I think if you have a gift, which we all do, if you have a gift, it's your duty to share it. Don't be selfish with your gift. Don't be sitting back like, oh, I got this gift and I'm going to be selfish with it. No, you need to share it. Get it out there to the world. It's your duty. It's your obligation. You need to. Right? So, okay, Dr. Eli, you said something about a TED Talk coming up. TEDx Talk coming up, man. Congrats. That's what's up. When is your TED Talk and what you talking about?
September 2nd, 2022.
Woo, let's go. Mic drop.
All right.
That's what's up.
And that TED Talk the TEDx Talk is taking place in Queens Village. So I look forward to that. Shout out to Tamika and the team that actually took my idea forward. And once again, the title is Time is Your Biggest Competitor.
Ooh, can you give us a preview? Come on, man. I need you to give me a little.
Okay.
I need you to tease the audience a little bit. Give me a little preview.
Right. Now, there are, as far as you know, the intro, I'm not going to get into that. But one of the major things that I would like to tap into is the metronome effect. We don't know about the metronome effect, but there's a cadence to a metronome. We know that metronomes, they help us with our tempo. They help us concentrate. They help us, you know, stay focused on the task at hand. But there's a difference when we set a deadline, right? There's a deadline. Let's say the deadline is 2 months from now, and we started working on a project. Right now, you are relaxed. But and there's a cadence. Let's say the metronome is at 30 beats per minute. As time progresses, and as your deadline gets closer, that metronome will increase that tempo. That's your sense of urgency.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's
like
urgency.
It's a great analogy.
And once it increases to a certain point, right? And it's clutch time. This is where I tap into the Yerkes-Dodson law. This is where I tap into the different stresses that we experience when we are in eustress or positive stress, when we feel like we can take over the world. that's when we set it. When we first initially set our deadline, that's when we experience that positive stress. But when the deadline is approaching, that's when we become distressed. And once we are operating at our optimal performance, we want to be in between those two extremes. We're going to tap into that in September.
Awesome.
I like it. Yeah, because you're absolutely right. Deadlines will put a little bit of stress on you. You know what I'm saying? Especially the closer you get. I was just thinking about that for our event that we had last week, the Backstage Pass event. Getting the audience there, getting everything set up and organized, and like we had 2 months to set that up. But I dragged my feet a little bit in the very beginning, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, that's next week? What?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Now it's distress.
Oh yeah, that was like panicking.
In a little bit of a distress.
Yeah.
Or panic, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to check out your TEDx talk, man. So stay connected with me and let me see it once you're done, man. I want to check it out for sure. I want to watch that.
I'll definitely send you guys the link.
Absolutely. Okay, hey, what is one of the best ways for the audience to connect with you if they want to learn more about this stuff? What do you prefer? Is it LinkedIn? Do you have a website? Is there a place that you prefer for people to contact you?
I like to keep everything the same as far as my website, Twitter, Instagram. It's pretty much the same. It's 𝐅𝐸LI_JOSEPH. That is the username. That's the username for everything. And I am very active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So Eli Joseph, I connected with you guys as well. This is more so of a journey. It's a journey, and you guys talk about paying it forward. I talk about failing forward as well, and it's more so of an intersection as well. And on top of that, the book is also available on Amazon. I can also give you guys some free books if you guys.
Well, that's what we were gonna do because mean, you put down here you wanted to throw out like 5 copies of your book.
Yeah, I got you guys.
5 copies, man. I'm gonna give you a mic drop for that. 5 copies. Okay, so why don't we do this? What's a question we can ask the audience, Mark? You got any ideas of something that we can ask the audience that we've talked about so far?
Where did Dr. Eli fail getting into, but now is teaching at?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, where did he fail? Okay, and so the first 5 answers that come back in the chat, we'll go ahead and give a copy of his book, The Perfect Rejection Resume, which is super cool, man. What an interesting concept. I just absolutely love that. So while we're waiting on that, I'm going to give some shout outs. I see Ann, I see Mohammed, good to see you. Mohammed, I see Timothy Mitchell in the house. Chandra Thomas, love it, good to see you. Elia K in the house. Hope Mengita, Jeff Serrano. And we got a big old house full of folks. We appreciate each and every one of you. And also, while we're waiting on the answers to come back, everybody online, go ahead and take a screenshot, okay? I want you to take a screenshot, and I want you to post that thing all over social media. I want you to get the word out and tell Eli what is, one of the mic drops or one of the things that was most impactful to you, and really blow up his notifications because I want him to understand what the Who You Know show is all about, and blow him up. That's
show him
what
some
we wanna
love.
do.
Yeah.
100%. You got any of those answers coming back? I got some.
Oh, yeah. We got answers already. We got Kay Chapa. She said she was the first one that I had in. Columbia. Michael Wigfield, Columbia University. Chandra Thomas, Columbia University. So we got a few more entries left. So we got 2 more books left. So make sure you get your answer. And the answer's right there. Go ahead and type it in.
Yeah, they gave you the answer. Well, we'll make sure we get those out to the first 5. I'll get them timestamped. We'll give them out to the first 5. Thank you so much, Dr. Eli Joseph. I really appreciate you. If we can get a round of applause for Dr. Eli. Hey, guys, don't go anywhere. We got to go to a real quick commercial break, but when we come back, we got Yolanda Smith in the house. We'll be right back.
If anyone is out there and you're a realtor or you are looking to get your real estate license, it's a very low-cost entry, $300 to take your real estate course online. Inexpensive compared to like a college. EXP is $150 to join, and it's like $84 a month. So relatively speaking, these are very inexpensive costs. If you are interested in that and you want to work with me as a realtor, I'd love to have you join my team, and you want to hear about the model, then go to join10xempire.com, and I do this opportunity call every Tuesday. Would love to answer your questions and tell you more about what I'm doing. If anyone out there is interested in working with me.
My name is Yolanda Smith. I am a brand therapist, and I am the CEO and founder of Branding for Success. And what do? I serve. I empower others to unleash the power of personal branding so that you can achieve joy and success. I help others articulate their values, stand out, and be authentic so that you can earn more, lead more, and win more.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who you know?
who you know? Who you know can make all the difference in your business, your relationships, your career, and your life.
And life.
You know what I'm saying?
Life.
All of it. Life.
In general.
Guys, we're super excited to introduce you to our next guest, okay? She is the Chief Brandtherapist and founder of Branding for Success, and she's also the VIP sponsor of this event today. If I can get a warm Who You Know welcome for Yolanda Smith. Let's go!
Miss Yolanda, how are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you guys?
Oh,
Doing
so
great.
good. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've got the coffee going, so don't worry.
I'm high on life. I'm just high on life.
Okay, so I gotta just dive on in here, Yolanda. I gotta know, what the heck is a Chief Brandtherapist? And am I even saying it right, or am I messing that all up?
You got it. I'm surprised because most people don't say it correctly. But the brand therapist is a term that I coined because I want people to brand up. How are we making ourselves visible? How are we getting recognized for the things that we do so well? So I'm that chief brand therapist, that person that gives you the gift of authenticity so that you can literally achieve joy and success in your lifetime by unleashing the power of your personal brand.
I like her energy. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna brand up today. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yes.
How do you brand up? And explain what that means. How am I gonna brand up?
So we are all a brand. And I think the problem that has existed for so long is that people don't realize that they are a brand. We brand items, we brand products, we brand services, we brand companies, but oftentimes we fail to brand ourselves. And we are a brand. And so branding up is really taking that intentional and strategic action to ensure that your brand is visible to others, that you are able to articulate your value, live authentically so that you can be genuine and stand out so that you can earn more, lead more, and win more.
Now, Yolanda, I know that with corporations, companies, businesses, brand is important, right? But should everybody have their own personal brand?
Absolutely. If you're not being the CEO of your brand, if you're not telling your
mic
story,
drop. Hold on,
then
wait a
somebody
second.
else is.
Hold on. What'd you say? Be the CEO of what?
If you're not being the CEO of your brand, you're not telling your story, then someone else is. And that will be risky.
Ooh, that's
good.
fire right there.
I like that.
Mic drop on that.
So what do you mean? Okay, you talk about that. You empower people to be the CEO of their career. Explain a little bit more about what that means and why is that so important for people?
So it's a couple of different things. One is being the CEO of your brand so that you can achieve the rewards that you desire. As a part of that, it is important that you also own your career, right? You need to be the CEO of your own career and take control of your destiny. Why that's important is that if you are waiting on someone else to develop your career for you, if you're waiting on someone else to just pull you along without you putting in the effort, you said it in the last segment, it's about being in action. It's about taking the initiative to do things on your own. And if you're waiting for somebody else to do that, you're missing the ball, because people are not mind readers. They don't know what you're interested in. They don't know what your superpowers are. You have to tell them. And that's super important if you really want to be tapped on the shoulder for the things that you do well versus always chasing the job and coming in second.
Mm-hmm. Is this something that you've done personally? Like, can you give us maybe an example where you've done that in your career?
Absolutely. So I think for me, I started personal branding in 2013 when I was the chairman of the board of directors of a nonprofit called Girls Talk. My goal was to really give them some tools and resources. As I started teaching personal branding, the parents came in and wanted to be a part of that. And that's when I realized I had an opportunity to level it up to the corporate level, to the entrepreneurs, right? But I can tell you there was a situation in my career. To me, because when you allow someone else to run the narrative for you, sometimes it can be risky, right? So it's super important that you're able to get out there, get ahead of it, get in front of it, and tell people exactly what it is you feel like they need to know.
What would you say to somebody, Yolanda, who's like, they're working their job, and maybe they're like, let's just say they're in IT or something like that, and they're sitting behind a cubicle, doing their thing, and maybe they just like personal brand. What do you mean? Like, what is, like, how are you going to get somebody who's just kind of just in the rat race to get out of their comfort zone, to put out a brand for themselves? And why would that be important for that person?
Yeah, good question. It's important because if you desire to do things, if you desire to level up, if you desire career advancement, promotions, if you are an entrepreneur, you want people to know who you are, you want to attract qualified clients. It is super important that you do this. Now, everyone's not comfortable putting themselves out there, right? Some people may think, oh my God, this seems, a little braggadocious. I feel like I'm boasting. People are going to think I'm arrogant. But what I would say to you is it's not the what, it's the how. And at the end of the day, if you're not the biggest advocate for yourself, for your career, for your life, who is? Who's going to be that for you? So even being IT people, who tend to be a little bit more introverted, I would say that it's about building connections and relationships. And that's about being able to tell your story. So your story should be interesting, relevant, and memorable, right? So it's not that it has to be a book, but you have to allow yourself to open up enough so that someone feels like they know you, feels like you belong, you fit. When that happens, that's when the magic starts, because those are the people that will promote you, hire you, nominate you, sponsor you, do business with you. Heck, they'll even marry you and loan you money. It doesn't get better than that. So it's about building those relationships. Those relationships are key.
I love that.
Yeah. I've got a question on that, because as we're developing that personal brand, the majority of Americans, right, are employees, and they're working for companies, let's just say corporations. You had mentioned the rat race. How are you helping the corporate and company side of the work that you do foster a personal brand environment?
So I think we're in a very, very different time. You've heard of the Great Resignation. You've heard of the Great Reshuffle. People are leaving their companies in droves because they've had an opportunity to sit back, prioritize what's important to them, right? And maybe they need different sets of opportunities. Maybe they feel like, they want to work remotely, different flexibility, and so forth. So I think right now, most corporations are in a situation where, how am I going to retain my top talent? How am I going to get my employees engaged? And so one of the things I do is I go into these organizations and I deliver branding and other professional development workshops these workshops actually help to upskill employees, help them to take, ownership of their own career, of their own skills and so forth, and the brand, and be able to build it. The other thing is the team branding. Think about it. With a lot of centralization taking place, silos are coming down. We're becoming more cross-functional. This is a super great opportunity for organizations to build team brand identities. Who are you? What is the value that you're going to provide to me? Why should I work with you? Why should I partner with you? And if you can do that and you do that well, and you're able to articulate your value to other people, then you have an opportunity for them to know where and how you can partner and be influential in driving results.
Yeah. I mean, that's great because, look, I mean, what you're passionate about obviously is helping people reach their highest potential. And that's helping teach the corporations how to help their employees reach. I mean, wouldn't your company want you to be reaching your highest potential for the work that you do?
So I would think so. Think about it. If you're a satisfied employee, your performance is going to be at the highest level. If you're performing at the highest level, you have an opportunity to achieve optimal results. If I'm an employer, I definitely want you to be happy and engaged, and in your purpose aligning with my purpose as an employer, because then I know that you're given the output. Dissatisfied people who feel like they can't come to work authentic, people that feel like they don't belong, those are individuals that struggle, because if you're not satisfied, there's no way you can be operating at your top level. And that's why people need to be aware of this. And the other thing I would say is that there's no competition between an individual brand and an employer's brand. If your employees have powerful brands, that only serves to enhance your corporate brand. So it's synergistic.
I like that.
Yeah. Mike's up on that.
What about the companies who just don't see that and they're like, nope, like we have our certain way of doing things and you need to do it this way, and they want all the employees to kind of be like robots. What would you say to a company like that as far as, hey, allowing your employees to have more of that personal brand and kind of take those handcuffs off a little bit?
I think this is what you will find. If an employer is open to this, if you're not open to it, you're missing great opportunities, because first of all, let's talk about it. You can be in a specific role that requires certain skill sets. That doesn't mean that's the only skill sets that I possess. So at the end of the day, if you want to know what I can offer, if you truly are interested in leveraging my expertise that I can bring to the table, then you have to allow me to be able to articulate my value, help you understand where my expertise and my super value, are.
You're speaking to me. I like you just speaking right to me, okay? Because listen, yes, when you work in a corporate America, like, you don't just do that job, whatever it is that you're doing for that company. That's not the only thing that you do. It's not your only gift. It's not your only talent. And so if they're just putting you in a box and only allowing you to do what they hired you to do, that's kind of like you're not performing at your highest capability, and you're not being a peak performer, and they're really just stunning your potential, and you never really even know where you can go because they're just putting you in a box and they just want you to be a certain type of way. I wouldn't work for a company like that. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Well, the other thing too is that it's up to you then to change that direction, right? It's up to you to help them understand who you are. So if you own your own brand and then you start making the connections in other areas within the organization that you would have interest in working, if you allow people to get to know you and build that relationship with you, then all of a sudden there's going to be people that are talking about you when you're not in the room. If you think about what is branding, right? It's that experience that people have with you. It is your credibility, it's your reputation, your image. It's the means by which you're remembered. But Jeff Bezos said it best: personal branding is what people say about you when you leave the room. So when you are not in the room and people are gossiping about you, because they will, is it positive or is it negative?
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Hold up. Let's see what the audience says. What y'all saying about me? Let me look at the computer. What y'all saying about me? Okay, so how does one really enhance their personal brand and take it to the next level? Is it just using social media? What are some other things? Okay, we know social media, right? Like we know posting and kind of getting yourself out there. But what are some other practical things someone can do to make sure that people are speaking positively about them and not necessarily negative, right?
So I think it's a couple things. I say that, in my teachings and the things that I offer, there's 5 essential steps to a powerful brand, right? First, it starts with authenticity. Who are you? How are you showing up? Are you pretending to be somebody that you're not? Because at the end of the day, it won't be sustainable. And nobody wants to work, do business with, date, or marry a fraud, right? We just don't want to do it.
Nope.
So do you feel like you can show up, bring your real self, your perspectives, your insights, your culture to the things that you do? Number 2, what is your value? What is that thing you do better than other? And it's not about really what's in it for you. You must serve. If you serve and you do it well, if you provide value to others, help others achieve their goals, then the results will come back to you. The rewards will return to you. So if the focus is on, I just want to make a bunch of money, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it, that doesn't become sustainable. Fast money goes fast, right?
Woo!
But if you're really operating in your passion, where you feel like you can help other people achieve what they're trying to achieve, that's huge. Number 3 is story. What's your story? Who knows you? Because Grant Cardone, I heard you say his name. That's my boy, 10X.
Yeah, let's go.
Says it best. If they don't know
you, they don't flow you. Yes, that's it. If they don't know you, they don't flow you.
How are you becoming visible? How are you making yourself visible? What's the story you're telling? Do people feel like they know you? Because again, that's when the magic happens. That's connections. People like doing business with confident people they feel like they know, people they feel like fit. And then are you creating that positive digital footprint? And the deal there is, yes, social media is important, but it's also about what are you doing on social media? Because you can be on social media trash talking, and that's not doing you any good. So how are you showing up online and offline? If you're showing up offline, all professional and prim and proper and just the right way, but then you get online and you ratchet, you're going to start confusing people.
Okay.
And once you create brand confusion, guess what? Confused people don't buy, period. And then lastly, the 5th one is you must master your brand. Once you've cultivated it, once you've developed your brand statement, once you know your story, then you've got to be willing to put it out there. So that's when the work starts, when you go to amplify, your brand, activate it. What does that mean? You go through 3 stages: awareness, engagement, conversion.
Ooh, I like what you're speaking my language. Okay, I love what you're talking about. Seriously. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Whenever someone is starting out on social media, we're talking about, if nobody knows you, nobody flows you, right? Grant Cardone. And we're talking about you need that visibility. You need to be seen. Well, on social media, it can be a little tough to kind of break through the noise because there's just so much on, in the news feeds and to, these algorithms and even if you're providing valuable content, sometimes it can be a little tough to get to that next level to get seen. Do you have any tips that can maybe help someone with their social media game to increase the views and what they're being seen online?
So I think one of the things we know is based off of the algorithm. It's not easy. I wish I could say I've mastered it. I might have 9,000 connections on LinkedIn and probably close to 5,000 on Facebook and some on Instagram. But I think the reality is it's just consistency and action. And the way you get that through LinkedIn or Facebook or any of these social media sites is that you've got to engage. And what does that mean? Yes, you should be adding value, but you have to also then connect with people that are influencers, like-minded, doing things you want to do or who you perceive to be your audience. Then what do you want to do? You want to post, you want to share, you want to comment, you want to like. So you have to equally engage with others, not just post the content, and you have to be consistent about it. You can't take 2 or 3 weeks off. That hurts. You have to be out there posting every day. And sometimes I'm telling you, it gets tough, but they have platforms out there to support that, right? And that can help you. You can sit down and plan what you want to say for the week and schedule it. Right. Because, if you're not out there and you're active and engaging, you can get lost real quick.
No, I like what you said about the engagement too, because a lot of times, they talk about how you want to engage in your comments, right? So you post something and someone responds and now you're engaging. having conversations in your comments. But don't forget, don't just do it on your post. Right?
Others, yes.
Yes, you need to go out and engage on other people. Go give a comment, because the algorithm, like especially with LinkedIn anyway, it kind of notices that you're being almost selfish with your engagement, right? If you're only doing it on your own posts, the algorithm's like, oh, okay, you're a taker, right? You're not a giver.
It's tough. Yeah, it can be tough. It can. I mean, I can have one post that'll go and it'll be 7,000 views, and get another one and you'll get the message, only 128 people have looked at it. And I'm looking at this and thinking, wow, that's interesting. You know, one picture may have been of my grandbaby. The other one might have been me really trying to say something important to you. So again, people like personal stuff. They really like kind of getting a lens into your life. But in doing so, maybe share with them from an authentic standpoint, you know, what have you gone through? What have been successful for you? How have you been able to achieve, you know, some wins, and what hasn't worked? You know, be authentic. I think that's so
true. You know, listen, I'm gonna tell you. So through consistency, you know, posting every day and stuff like that, I'll have a few, you know, maybe one a month that kind of go viral, right? You'll get your consistent clips going, but then you'll get one that'll go just woof. And every time I'll look at those posts, and it's something super personal, something that I'm usually afraid to post. I'm like thinking the whole time, I'm like, ooh, should I post this? I don't know. Boom, I hit post, and then bow. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's the audience telling me they want to know more about me behind the scenes, not this flash, like what we got going on right now. It is all flash and stuff. Listen, they want to see the real deal. Like, there's too much highlight reel going on, Instagram highlight reel. There's too much of that, and people don't know what's real and what's not. And so I love what you're talking about with the authenticity.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. You know, I tell people all the time, be wary of starting to get down on yourself when you look at social media and appears somebody else's life is great. I mean, some of this is smoke and mirrors big time. People are going to show you what they want you to see. That's why I think sometimes coming out with the dirty, you know, and the not so good. You know, you want to look good, put your makeup on, come on out. But every now and then you got to sit back, be raw faced, and say, this day sucked. Let me tell you what happened to me. You're not going to believe this. You know, and because this is real world. And I think that when you can be authentic like that, people really sort of take a liking to you. And I think the other thing too is, you know, we all made that rookie mistake of going out and we just want a bunch of connections, right? So we're asking everybody to be our friend and like us and this sort of thing. That's a hoax too. I mean, I think it's important that you have connections, but you have connections with the right people. I would much rather have a couple dozen connections of people who really engage with me, share, like, you know, are interested in growing and can add value, you know, to a reciprocal relationship, versus just having a bunch of people out there that do absolutely nothing. You know, and so we don't chase the likes. I don't chase the likes anyway. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't chase the likes, but I do like the views, you know, because then you know someone is watching you. And a lot of times LinkedIn is that platform that that engagement's kind of weird, right? People, you can get 5,000 views and only have 20 likes, you know. So
that's interesting too, because what's so interesting to me is the window shoppers. Okay. And the window shoppers are the people who never engage on your content, but believe me, they're watching you. You are being seen. They're watching your videos. They're looking at your content. They're reading it. They just don't engage. Okay. They're window shoppers, but let me tell you, you're having an impact in their world, and they may be the one person to hit you up in a DM. Okay. They won't put it publicly. Okay. For whatever reason. But they may hit you up in a DM and be like, man, this really spoke to me. I can't believe whatever. And those are like a lot of times the window shoppers are your raving fans. They love you.
Those are the ones that if you miss a post, they're like, what happened today? Yeah. Right? Like, where was the show?
I spoke recently at a women's empowerment conference, and a lady came up to me and she goes, I'm only here because of you. She goes, I follow you on LinkedIn, and when I heard you were speaking, I was like, I had to be here. And I'm thinking, I've never even, who are you? You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. I mean, and then it's just random people be like, oh my God, you just don't know how I identify with you or how you've changed my life. And to be quite honest, you know, I do one-on-one coaching with entrepreneurs and corporate professionals, and probably 80% of my business comes through LinkedIn. And
Now,
you're right.
Well, on that note, real quick, so you said you do one-on-one coaching. Okay, we got something special for a lucky member of the audience. The show's here. You want to give away a 30-minute strategy session? You trying to hook somebody up today, huh?
Yep, I'll do it. I'm all
That's
about
what
it.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What's a question for the audience we can ask?
Well, so before we get to the question, though, I was going to highlight, too, because you also have a book out, right? Reputation to Reward. And you've got your online course at yolandasmith.com/course-link. So I want to make sure to highlight that, too. But for this giveaway, that's a good one. Let's see. What's a good question?
Let's see here. Yolanda, what's a good question for the audience? We need to pick out one winner.
One lucky winner.
Give them, what is one of the 5 essential steps to building a personal brand? I gave 5 steps. What is one of the 5 steps?
There you go. Right. What's one of the 5 steps? Tell us in the chat. And while we're waiting, let's talk about that.
We'll also give away 5 books. Give away 5 books.
You give 5 books too?
30-minute strategy session, 5 books.
Dang.
All right. So how about this? Yeah, first one to answer gets a book in the course, and then the next 4 will get the other book.
Well, it's not the course, right? You're doing the course too?
Well, it's just a strategy
session. Sorry, strategy session. Excuse me.
Yeah, so we'll do the strategy session and the book. Let's go. Give us one of those 5 steps. One of the 5 steps down in the chat. While we're waiting, let me give some shout outs here. I see Mark. Good to see you here. My computer comments are backwards. Mark, I see you. Chandra, I see you. Hope Mangita in the house. Darlene, good to see you. Ashik, good to see you. How are you? Lisa Parker in the house. Can you tell us, while we're waiting on the comments to come through, can you tell us about this course that you have and who does it serve?
Yes. So the online course is really how to build, create, and master your personal brand. And so I take you from concept to action, helping you to really think about who you are. We start from the inside out. You know what I mean? A brand is not just about a logo, a business card, and a website. You've got to start from the inside out and being able to understand, what's my why? Who am I? What's the vision I have for my life? Because people don't have personal visions. We make corporate visions, right? But what's the vision for your life? And then creating that brand statement. One of the things I will tell you is that you are not your job title. And so I force people to align to their ownable assets and really start to uncover what that value is, the superpowers that they bring. This course will take you step by step. There's 5 key modules, there's workbooks, you get a one-on-one coaching session with me, and then you also have bonus content on how to create that digital footprint, some of the most common mistakes people make when trying to create that personal brand, and lots more. So, I mean, the course is fantastic. I mean, it's easy to go through. You know, you run through the steps and then you meet with me and we align on everything. I make some recommendations, some tweaks for you, and then you're ready to get out there in that digital world and really put it out there. Yes.
Let's go. We need to. Y'all need to get this. Y'all need to go get that course. yolandamsmith.com/course-link. Okay, we'll get that put in the chat. And I think we got some winners for this book and the 30-minute session. Let's see. Who do we got, Mark?
So we actually we're going to have to look at the timestamp because we had 2 people answer almost simultaneously. Chandra Thomas and Mark Lauterbach both said providing value or knowing your value.
Yeah.
They both answered that.
I see. I'm just going by order. I'm going by order, Mark. It's Chandra.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I saw too.
So
I'll give them both a 30-minute session.
Oh,
drop that.
You get a 30-minute session. You get a 30-minute session. You all get. Wait, not everybody, but
I got a little bit of branding for you too, Yolanda. It's so when we talk about, you said brand up, right? Mm-hmm. So, but a lot of us are working in team environments. So, one of the things that you could use as maybe a slogan is band up, right? Band together, band up, and brand up.
Oh, okay.
Band up and brand up.
Okay.
I like it. All right. Y'all heard it on here. He said I can use it.
You heard it here on the Who You Know Job Networking Show. Okay, so
That's right.
We got Chandra and Mark. You're gonna get you a 30-minute session. You're also gonna get you a book, and I see a few others in here. You said 5 books, right, Yolanda?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I see Elia. I see Darlene, and we'll make sure Hope gets one. Hope's always with us, and we appreciate Hope. So we'll make sure Hope gets a book as well. Yolanda, what's the best way for the audience to connect with you? Is there a specific place that you would like for them if they wanted to reach out, maybe send you a message, or what's the best way to contact you?
Really, it's easier if you, because right there on my website is a form that you could fill out and schedule, an introductory call or whatever. It's yolandamsmith.com. Okay. YolandaMSmith.com. And then definitely hook up with me on LinkedIn. I'm Yolanda Smith, the branding expert. So it's Yolanda. If you look for Yolanda Smith, you'll see me, Branding for Success with the number 4. I'm there.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure you take a screenshot right now. Get your phones out, click, take your little screenshot, and I want you to post this thing. This is your social media post for today, and I want you to say, hey, this is what I learned. This is the mic drop that I got from Yolanda. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And tag Yolanda and tell her, what was so impactful that you learned here today, and make sure her notifications are driving her bonkers. I want her to just be like, gosh, these Who You Know people won't leave me alone.
They're just blow me up.
Golly.
Blow me up.
You know what I'm saying?
Guys, pleasure.
Yolanda, thank you so much. Guys, we got to go to a real quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we got Dr. Jennifer Blalock in the house. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, come work for the most innovative company in the world, 10X Incubator. We're launching 10,000, listen to me, 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. If you're a coder, what?
We got
programmer,
coders, we got graphic designers, we got copywriters, digital marketers, biz dev.
You name it.
You got
if you
skill.
like tech, love tech,
hungry.
want to be in tech, okay? We don't actually require that you get the jab here either. Just so you know, if you want it, good. If you don't want it, no problem. We are hiring. We want you. If you're good at your job, if you're disciplined, if you want to be paid well, if you want to be taken care of, if you want to be in a 10X environment, click the link below. Give us your resume and a short video, 30-second video. Just tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. We want you. We want you.
Let's go.
We want you.
You know you have something unique to offer your next employer, whether it's your experience or your work ethic or your passion or your personality. But how do you stand out from the crowd when you're stuck sending plain text emails that lack personality, lack humanity, and worst of all, look like every other email in the inbox? Job seekers just like you are discovering how easy it is to put their humanity back into their communication and back into their job search with BombBomb Video. Visit bombbomb.com to start a free trial today and rehumanize your job search.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who you know?
Who you know? Who you know can make all the difference in your career, your business, relationships, and life. Guys, I'm super pumped and excited about our next guest today because let me tell you something. I just like the title, okay? I really, really like the title. So our next guest, she is the Chief Energy Officer. I can't talk. She's the Chief Energy Officer at InJenuitu Solutions. If I can get a warm Who You Know welcome for Dr. Jennifer Blalock. Let's go.
How are you?
Oh my goodness.
Forever.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. 3 of my favorite people in Texas.
Yay! How is it sunny Florida?
Florida, yes. I'm still working in the Southeast. So great to see you guys.
Yeah. How long has it been? I mean, it was some years ago.
I think it was actually a year and a half ago. It was during the pandemic
Okay.
the last time we chatted. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm real excited you're here, and I want to know, first off, I just have to know what this Chief Energy Officer, what's that all about, and where do I sign up? Because I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Absolutely. So that's a great question, and it's something I would love to talk about. It's something I'll be talking about in my new book.
Oh.
And it's essentially, I had a moment of insight. I have spent much of my career in very traditional positions, right? And we've all had those moments. And I know, Trevor, Mark, the people you work with, the people who are listening, who are in transitions in their career, sometimes you feel anonymous, right? When you don't have that business card, you don't have that label, you don't know who you are anymore. And I had this moment when I had transitioned from a job. I quit with no parachute, right? I didn't know where I was headed. I was like, I just want to do something different. I want to do consulting. And I had been so married to a title from an organization for so long, right? Have you been conditioned that way in your career? And so I did a book study on a book called The Energy Bus. If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. It's an easy read.
The Energy Bus.
You two live it. Foster lives it as well. But so The Energy Bus. And the idea is that you have total control over who you are. And I say that to say, what do you bring to the table every day? What do you want to bring to the table every day? I've had mentors who have always told me, if you aspire to be a CEO, you don't wait to behave like a CEO until you are granted that title. You've got to grant that title to yourself. And so you both have known me for a long time. I like it. I challenge everybody listening, whether you are employed right now, whether you're in transition, who do you want to be? Who do you believe yourself to be, right? What is that magic title that you think is going to make everything come true? And create that title for yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody else to say, hey, Trevor, you're the CEO of your own life, or hey, Mark, you're the Chief Operations Officer of Who You Know Network. Whatever that title is, it's up to you to architect it, to claim it, to own it, and to become it and demonstrate it in everything you do every day. And so you all have met me before. Those of you that haven't worked with me, one of the best things that I can bring to an organization and bring to clients that I work with, whether it's an individual organization, is energy. Who does not want to be around energy? Energy creates motion. It creates progress. It creates opportunity, creativity, so many wonderful things. It brings light to situations, right? Light to darkness in its most basic and fundamental form. So I am the Chief Energy Officer, and I'm also the Chief Extra Officer. So what are you guys? What are your titles? What are your titles? What are those?
I don't know. I'm going to have to put some thought into that, but I really do like what you were saying, and especially it's so needed right now because, with this great resignation, and there was like 4.5 million people who quit their jobs in 2021, and everybody's, I feel like they're trying to find happiness, right? They're looking for fulfillment. They're looking to be happy, and they're just not where they were. Obviously, they wouldn't have quit, right? So 4.5 million people quit their jobs, and so for what you're saying, it's like, hey, go, like Yolanda was saying, being the CEO of you, write your own story. So Jennifer, can you tell me, what would you recommend for someone to do who's maybe in a position like that where they're unhappy? Like what would be the first step? Okay, I wake up and I'm just unhappy with what I do for a living, and I need to get something better.
So I think that's a great starting point, because why do people leave their positions, as you just shared? Because who they are, who they want to be, did not align with what their business card said. And so to start unpacking that process, it's really important to start here. And Yolanda talked about this. We've been conditioned for a long time to think that saying or identifying great things about us makes us arrogant. The difference between arrogance and confidence is that somebody who's arrogant thinks certain things about themselves that aren't true, that they can't back up. A confident person has a level of awareness of what value they bring to the table and can back it up, can demonstrate it with evidence and in how they behave. So what I would challenge everybody out there to do, whether you're currently in a position or you're transitioning, is to create that list of things you're a badass at, right? Like your superstar moments, and own that. Own that. Say, you know what? I kill it at building relationships. I kill it at helping people with their resumes. I know that I'm going to add energy to an organization. I know that I'm going to add vision. Maybe you're the CVO, the Chief Vision Officer of organizations, helping them really bring that vision and mission to life. So I would encourage you to make that list. Then go to your cheering squad, the people that love you, and ask them to affirm it or add to it. All right. So, hey, Mark, hey, Trevor, hey, Foster, are these things, can I back them up? Right. And in my book, I talk about identifying them. And something we don't often do in resumes or cover letters is connect what we say we do with what we've done. Right. There's this big gap between the two. And so to really actualize your extra, you've got to back it up so that you're not walking that fine line between confidence or arrogance. So start your list, be proud of that list, whether you put it on a sticky note in your car, whether you write it on your affirmation book, whether you type it to yourself so you see it on your screensaver, whatever that list is, and then start demonstrating it every day, finding evidence, collecting evidence, getting testimonials from others, having people give you examples, people who are doing what you already want to do and doing it well, asking those questions or modeling the behavior if you're not exactly where you want to be yet with that extra, that vision of who you want to be. Make sure they align. That's really, really important. And sometimes during a career transition, that's the perfect time to realign, reassess, who do I really want to be? I've been in this career for so long because it's what my master's was in, or it's what my education or experience is. But now's the time for that diversion, right? For that freedom, that disruption of your own career in a positive way. And so starting by checking in with yourself to say, what am I really, really good at? What brings me that joy? How can I bring those two things together in a way that I can actually, maintain a career that I love and earn a living that allows me to live the life I want to live?
Yeah, that's so good because, the way you framed up the difference between being like arrogant and cocky and like confident because, listen, I mean, look, there's sports players out there, football players, and look, if you can back it up, right? If you can back it up, listen, be confident. It's cool. You can back it up. You're putting up the points on the board. Everybody knows you're the man in the whole 50 grand. It's all good to be a little bit confident, right? Let me ask you this. Let's say you can back it up, right? You're putting the points on the board. You can back it up. When does it become like a little bit across the line though, where you're just like, okay, now you're a little arrogant? Is there a line if you can back it up?
There is a line. That's a great question, Trevor. I think that's also a time when people who are in positions where they feel like they're having to taper back what's excellent about them, it's often an indicator that you are either in the wrong position, working with the wrong organization, or it's perhaps time for you to move on. Ooh. If you are having to taper the best things about you, it might be time for a check-in, right? So we've all seen it. You use the sports analogy. We've got the NBA playoffs going on right now, the finals. And when you look at players, there are some players who are phenomenal who don't have championship rings or who didn't succeed with one team, but are doing phenomenal with others. Andrew Wiggins would be a great example, right? Just who's really actualizing his fullest potential in self. He's in the right environment. His skills, his extras are where they need to be, and they're contributing at that highest level. He was in a previous team, didn't really work out, didn't really gel. So sometimes it's not a good fit. It's not a good match. If what you're doing and bringing to the table is not contributing to the benefit of the organization, the clients that you're working with, or to yourself, if all of those three things aren't in alignment, it's time for a check, right? A check-in. What do I want to be? What do I want to contribute? How can I contribute? And then where can I take my talents? As LeBron once said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. It was his time. It was his time to be in South Beach, right? I wasn't mad at him. It was his time to move on. And he knew that, about himself because of what his goals were. And he wanted to be with an organization that could make that happen. Mm-hmm. Don't begrudge yourself that opportunity. A lot of times we get emotionally connected to a group of people. We love working with them, right? How many times have you said, man, I love it here though. We get comfortable, we get complacent, but it may not be challenging us to really fulfill the best of who we are. And that's doing them a disservice and ourselves a disservice.
That's
I got another mic drop.
That's good.
So when we talk about, the steps that you laid out, some of the action items to elevate your performance and, from a work product standpoint or your employment standpoint, what about your personal lives, right? how do people, let's say I'm somebody who wants to get the most out of my personal life as well.
Yeah.
How do those steps translate over to the personal life?
Absolutely. So it demands and commands that same level of self-authenticity and checking in with yourself. We have all been guilty of staying in relationships that we got complacent in or did not bring out the best of us. And I'm not just talking about relationships with your spouse or your partner or a loved one. I'm talking about friendships, right? Well, we're not really lifting each other up anymore. Mm-hmm. You've had those instances where you were maybe going through a challenging time with a friend and you guys were maybe both unemployed or, those kind of things. If a relationship is not bringing out the best in you, what changes or adjustments can you bring to the table to continue to be a catalyst and to provide and promote some growth? But there are often times where we maybe need to step back from a friendship or a relationship, or we need to reassess what level of influence we are going to allow it to have on our personal and professional growth. And I think, Mark, your question really boils down to, is this bringing me joy, happiness, and building into and toward where I want to go in my life, who I want to be? And if it's not, that's a time for a check-in as well, personally. And that can be some tough decisions. It doesn't mean that you can't be in that person's life anymore, but it may mean that you need to adjust the way in which you're in that person's life and vice versa.
Well, that, it's so interesting to see this correlation between, the guests that we've interviewed today. It's all, kind of hinged on, or at least touched upon, the brand, but how do we want to appear and what do we want to achieve in our lives? And, from a work standpoint, all of that makes sense. But what a lot of people don't think about is how that translates and carries over into our own personal lives, because they talked about imposter syndrome, right? In just this last segment that we did. And if you are one person at work and you're one person in your personal life and they're totally different, right? That you're not maximizing your performance and elevating that, because, one is going to certainly get more energy than the other.
Absolutely. Right. And I think too, Mark, to your point, if you're not happy personally, and we all know this, right? You carry that over. And so a lot of people that I work with in their professional life are not achieving the goals that they have in mind or that they've set for themselves, because they're carrying that personal baggage with them of not aligning with who they want to be, right? And I think we've all really got to have those moments where we assess, is who I say I am, both personally and professionally, aligning with the things I do. And the study of cognitive dissonance, which again is when who we say we are doesn't align with the things that we do and how we behave, it's not a bad thing, right? It's okay to say, oh, wow, I thought I was a better friend to Trevor, or I thought I was a better coworker, or, I thought those reports I was turning in were like top of the line. And then to hear back from clients or what other, that feedback, it might be painful, but it helps us grow. And that's where feedback, bringing others into the process of identifying your extras, becoming the best extra version of yourself, and actualizing what you want it to say on your digital brand in terms of who you are, what your business card says. You decide that, but then you've got to back it up in action and behaviors.
Well, I love what you're talking about. It's kind of like taking inventory of, the things you're good at and the things maybe you're not so good at, and then getting the feedback from the people that are around you. Because they can either tell you, hey, you know what, actually, you're a little bit better than that than you think, right? Yeah. Or they could say, actually, no, you suck. You
sure
suck.
That's your strength. Yeah.
And you need some work on that. And you know what I mean? But it's good to get that feedback, because we oftentimes are our own worst enemy, and we think a lot of times so negatively about ourselves or our capabilities or our potential or what we're able to do. I think people are oftentimes that way. They're just their own worst enemy. And to see it from an outside perspective, and people look at it and go, actually, no, you're not half bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're all right.
You're all right.
You're all right.
You're all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be okay. Okay. You also have a book. Okay.
Coming out.
And it's coming out, and it's I didn't wake up to be ordinary, and neither did you. I like that title.
Boom, okay. I'm going to mic up that title.
Thank you.
Where did that come from, the title? And just hit me with the book. Tell me what readers can expect from this thing.
Absolutely. So the book really focuses on the idea that if you put the word extra in front of ordinary, you get an extraordinary experience, right? We spend so much of our time trying to fit in. And I would like to challenge that notion that the world doesn't need us to align with these expectations and standards of being like everybody else. That is probably the biggest, most harmful fallacy in people's professional and personal lives. Our journey is simply that, ours. And our whole life trajectory is about unpacking the best of Trevor, the best of Mark, the best of Jennifer. What can we bring and unpack that's different, that makes us set aside and set apart from everybody else? And so the book is about, and it's inspired by, I gotta give my daughter credit. Anyone that has a daughter, first of all, when she was a teenager, she would always say, "Mom, you're so extra." And it's true, 100% true, 100% true. However, I will just give you a couple of examples of times in fashion or different things where my daughter would be like, "Oh my God, Mom, don't do that," right? 5 or 10 years later, this trendsetter right here had put those things, all right? So I embraced my extra early, and I'm not embarrassed by it. I know I'm not like everybody else. I don't want to be, who wants to be ordinary? Raise your hand right now, Trevor. Who wants that life? Nobody.
You want to be extraordinary, extraordinary.
Exactly, extraordinary. So that's the point of the book, is helping you to identify what makes you extra. What separates your resume or your credentials? Why would a company want you? And Yolanda talked about this as well, because we think of branding so often as just for a company, but you are your own company. You are the CEO of you, as she shared. So identifying and unpacking those extras and committing to embracing those, to celebrating yourself. There's so much in this world that we could be negative about. Why would we? And potentially about ourselves. Are you kidding me? There's so much to celebrate. Every day is a gift. It's up to us to unpack it.
Yep.
And that gift is included in it, like you're the gift, right? But if you don't even know your own talents or skills, I am a certified Gallup Strengths Finders, and I'm very much about asset building. And Trevor, you mentioned something about, noticing your weaknesses. I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 in April of next year. And I think, with age comes wisdom, right? I know what areas are my strengths. I know some areas maybe I need to do some work on, but I also know some areas that I'm not good at, I'm not going to be good at, and I'm not going to put time into. I'm going to surround myself with people who can do that better than I can.
There you go.
And I'll give you an example. And this is a bad example, but I ride my bike between 80 to 100 miles a week. And I should know how to change a tire. I have zero interest in knowing how to change my tire. I'm not going to lie about it. The bike shop is always like giving me a hard time about it. It's just, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take it to the bike shop. I'm going to pay the $50 to $75. I'm going to feel confident that my bike is safe, because that's not my skill set. I am good at a lot of things, but changing a tire, not happening. So I think that, knowing your strengths and focusing on those, it's a benefit to you. Certainly there will be some things based on the industry sector that you want to work in that, of course you need to grow in and be mentored in. But there are areas where, I know CEOs who still have people that proofread their, of billion-dollar companies who still have people proofread their emails or those kinds of things, right? Do their PowerPoints for them.
Yeah,
know what you're great at, build and cultivate and invest in those areas, and then bring in people who can build you up in those other areas where you have opportunities for growth.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, the CEO, if you're the CEO, your job is to, build a team around you and to build the company and to grow the company and to understand that, hey, listen, like you can't do everything. So if you can delegate your weaknesses to somebody who's better, like why would you take your time doing something if you're going to do a bad job at it? Why wouldn't you bring someone in who could get the job done and do it right? And save time, and ultimately that'll save money because you'll be doing what you do well at a higher level because you're not worried about all this other stuff that ain't worth your time, right?
Yeah.
So I love that. I think that's an amazing. What's next for you, Dr. Jennifer? What is next for you? You got some other books coming out. I know you got this one coming out in July, but what else you got going on?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of work with city governments in learning and organizational development. And, you've talked a lot about the Great Resignation. So I've been doing a lot of work with companies, small companies, large companies, even nonprofits, because the world of work is changing. I was just reading an article yesterday about basically how employers, we didn't, we kind of chose not to stay in the game, right? And so we're feeling the repercussions of that. And so a lot of the consulting work I do is helping companies understand how to attract and retain talent, because all of you out there, you are the asset. Companies now appreciate, the pendulum has swung. You are the asset that they need. Your people are your number one asset. And I think that's been taken for granted for a while, right? There's been a lot of, well, you're lucky to work for us.
Right.
And so I hope that we end up somewhere in the middle where we realize this is a mutually beneficial relationship that we both have to put time and effort into.
It needs to be in the middle. You said it. Oh my gosh, it's got to be in the middle, because it can't even be like right now. You're saying that the employee is the asset, and they are the asset. But that pendulum has swung to a point where, they're kind of like have demands, and like at a certain level, it does have to come back into the middle, because.
Agreed.
Right? You get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
Like,
if it's too far to one side, it creates like dissonance, right?
Absolutely.
Dissonance,
yeah. And I would say, so in the article I was looking at yesterday was the reasons that people leave companies, right? And number one was compensation, poorly compensated. But in that top 10 are things that we have control over, because again, oftentimes, compensation, we can't be as competitive, right? But I talked about that. Is my company invested in me? And that's where training and coaching and opportunities. I didn't see room for advancement or growth with my company. I don't think it's a bad thing anymore for people. And I think the younger incoming work generation is teaching us this. Do I have to stay at a company for 5, 10, 15 years to show my value? They're moving around a lot more frequently, and it's not just the new generation anymore. I have several friends and colleagues who have changed jobs because they're in a highly competitive industry sector. They've had different opportunities. So, our ideas and the way we value company loyalty. Hey, is it okay if an employee comes in for a year and gives us the best year they can? Is that a bad thing on their resume? I'm not sure it's a bad thing anymore.
It's not.
I think what we've got to do, Trevor and Mark, is at this point start really challenging and disrupting some of those norms that we've had for a really long time. How do we assess quality work and contribution to an organization? Does it mean you stay with us for 15 or 20 years, or you retire with us? I'm not so sure about that. Does it mean you put in a Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. traditional workday? I'm not so sure about that, right? Does it mean you stay in your position? I think we've got to build in more opportunities for career growth. We've got to give people opportunities for training. When budgets are tough, we typically cut training hours and training budgets. That's one of the first things to go. Our job has to be keeping the conversation going, because the world is changing. The world of work is changing. Companies have got to keep up. Employers have got to keep up to remain competitive
and people change.
In not just recruiting, but keeping and retaining and growing and cultivating. And that doesn't mean stagnancy. It doesn't mean, okay, I got Mark on a contract.
Change.
Yep, he's stuck here, right? No, I've got to grow with him. I've got to create the conditions for both of us to benefit from that.
Exactly. And you said it to your point. It doesn't take 15 years either. Like, people change. I'll give you an example. So when I was in the auto industry, I was there for 6 years. I was their top producer. I was crushing it. And there were some opportunities that came up, and they didn't open up very often. Okay, these doors did not open very often. And so I saw the opportunity, and I went to the GM, and I asked the GM, I said, okay, hey, we talked about this before a couple years ago. Here's this opportunity again. It's up. And I remember what he told me. He said, well, that's the beauty of it. I don't have to make a decision today. I got 90 days to make a decision. And I was like, wow, okay. I mean, to me, that's all I needed to hear, because I told him literally, I said, if you don't know after 6 years, then you're not going to know after 90 days. So if you're wanting me, and maybe this would have been the not a great response, but if you're wanting me to jump through hoops for 90 days, because that's what he wanted me to dance, dance for 90 days, puppet dance. That's what he wanted me to do. And I said, well, that's unfortunate, because if you don't know after 6 years, you're not going to know after 90 days. So I heard what I needed to hear, and I'm not going to be your puppet either. But that's just me. Maybe somebody else would dance. That's on you.
No, Trevor, you've said something that I think is really essentially what everyone's saying by resigning, right? And moving on to different places or wanting that autonomy is my value is my determination. And if you're not open to receiving it, and I talked about that. If you want to be a CEO, your behavior in those 9 years that you worked with them or 6 years that you worked with them, you showed it, you demonstrated it every day. Where were they? Did they show up for you? Why should you show up for them if they aren't willing to do that as well? And why would that ever be a bad thing? If I'm your partner, if I'm your supervisor, it is about that partnership and collaboration. And we should have been having those conversations regularly throughout those 6 years, 9 years, so that it was a partnership to build your pathway that says, Trevor, you got next. I'm ready for you. You've already demonstrated on the daily because I've been here for you. I've seen you. We've talked about this. I know your value. I've been recognition. That's another thing our employees deserve and need, as well as our organizations that we work with as consultants. We need recognition. We need those check-ins to show what kind of key performance indicators have we achieved collaboratively. And then it's like, okay, now what? Trevor's been killing these numbers. What does it mean? What was it all for? If not to give you that open door to opportunity and making you jump through those hoops. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you. I left about 2 weeks later. I was like, whoop, I'm out. Anyway, listen, so I know you've got some really cool stuff that you wanted to give away as well. You've got a free success pack. Can you tell me, first of all, what's the success pack? And then, Mark, can you think of a question we'll ask the audience?
Sure. So I am willing to give away 5 hours of individual coaching to create an action plan for either a job seeker or an individual who is trying to elevate and or take that leap to small business entrepreneurialism or to get that next level up in their career, as well as a digital copy of my book in July. So I would love that for anybody who's out there. And I want to know what their title is. What is their dream title? So 5 people that can tell me what their business card would say. It can't be traditional. It can't be chief executive officer. It's got to be something unique. It's got to be something pretty cool. So let's see what we get.
There you go.
Love that. Love that. So you said, okay, so you're going to give away, I just got to make sure I get this correctly.
Yeah.
Are we doing this for 5 people or 1 person? What did you say you're going to do for 5 or 1?
For 5. I'll do it for 5 people.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, snap. All right.
This is like Oprah up in here.
So guys, get your keyboard clacking because she wants to know what your dream title.
First 5 dream titles. I want to hear it. And while we're waiting, I'm going to give some shout outs. I see Chandra Thomas, Hope Mangita, Carmen. Good to see Carmen in the chat with us. That's amazing. Love that. And then if you guys can do me a big favor, also get your phone out, click, click, get your little screenshot, boop, boop, like that. And I want you to post it all over social media. This is our social media blitz episode. So I want you to get this thing all over the place, right? We're trying to highlight these folks. And I want you to blow up Dr. Jennifer and tell her, what was one of the mic drops you learned from her today? And get her notifications going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It might be a little cliche, and I'm sure it's already been used, but I want to be the Chief Inspiration Officer.
Chief
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I believe you are,
people.
Mark. I mean, I believe it. We see it, right, Trevor? We see that in him. So you got validation right there.
Boom.
Chief
Band up and brand up.
I'm trying to think.
CIO.
I'm trying to think of mine. I don't know. What, Mark? What do you think, man? Tell me what you think for me. What do you think?
I think driving, but in a good way, right?
Driving.
Chief driving officer.
Yeah, I got
right. Because he's a driver. He's a driver. He puts in work.
We're going someplace. I don't know where we're going, but we're driving somewhere. Maybe off a cliff. I don't know. Maybe off a cliff, but we're finna go somewhere. Are you getting in or what? Are we getting in? You're like, let's
I'm
go.
in.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go. All right.
Go toward the future.
All right. We got some answers that have come back. I see James Monroe. He's a CEO. I live in now.
Oh, he lives it now.
I see Sandra says business owner, creator. I see Carmen, lead designer, content creator, and chief visionary. I love that.
I like that.
Well,
CVO.
What's that?
CVO.
CVO.
Yeah, there you go. CVO.
I love these creative titles too because we had Claude Silver. If you know her, she's the chief heart officer for VaynerMedia with Gary Vee. Yeah, And
Yes.
yeah, so it's just cool. I like seeing this, and I appreciated you're the chief energy officer, and I like energy too. So I like your energy. You brought excellent energy to this show today, guys. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Appreciate you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for giving out all of this amazing value to our audience.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And Jessica, looking forward to hearing your contributions. Here's the handoff.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Guys, we got to go to a real quick break, but don't go anywhere. You heard it. We got Jessica Williams in the house. We'll be right back.
It's time to pay it forward. Who You Know Nation, check it out. I got an idea. It's actually not my idea. It's not really original, but the movie Pay It Forward, where he's talking about helping 3 people. And if those 3 people help 3 people, and then those 3 people help 3 people, right? It starts to create impact and change. And that's what I'm all about. I've been doing our summit and everything with the Who You Know show now for years. Everything is free to the community. We've been giving for years, and it's always been about impact for me. And so I'm going to ask you for a favor. I'm going to ask you to pay it forward. It's something we always talk about. If we've ever provided you any value, I want you to share it to 3 job seekers, 3 people who are looking for their next successful opportunity. Or the other thing you could do would be to share the link to our summit online. You can literally just do it in a social post. You could post it out there. But if we do this, think about it. We can cause change. We can actually make an impact, and you can be part of that. And I want you to be part of that. We appreciate you. Hope you have a phenomenal, blessed day. And let's go make some change out there in the world. All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up? I haven't found anyone. Here, try Hirect. It helps you find people fast, direct, and it's free. Okay, so you start by clicking on his profile, then you click on the chat, and then there you go.
Hi, Mark.
Oops.
Nice to meet you. Hirect in my phone. Who's the best among you all?
Hirect, specialized for startups.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your career, your business, relationships, and your life.
Boom.
Guys, I'm super excited because we've got an amazing guest here with us today. I want to introduce you to, she's a career consultant, resume finesser, and job snatcher. If everybody could give a warm welcome for Jessica Williams.
Woo-hoo! Welcome, Jessica.
Good morning from California.
Hey.
How's everyone?
Morning.
We're so good. Okay, I gotta know. Hold up.
Uh-oh.
They call you the resume finesser and the job snatcher. Okay, talk to me about this job snatcher. What's all that? What's all that about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I call myself the job snatcher because I'm able to empower professionals to come in and basically snatch an opportunity.
Okay,
I love it.
How do they do that? How are they snatching it up? What are some practical things that you're teaching people to get that job?
So it starts with confidence. You come in and you're able to convey your superpowers. If you're a badass, you're able to come in, show it, shake the table a little bit, and then let people see your unicorn-like talents. That's always my get-to.
Well, that's what you put it here too. I saw that you empower professionals to snatch a seat at the table or break it, right? So you either take it or break it, right?
Absolutely. There's only 2 options, because if you can't snatch it, you have to create your own seat at the table.
I like that. All right. So one of the things that I like to do on this show, okay, is I'm always looking for like cutting, bleeding edge strategies. Okay, because we get to talk with coaches and all kinds of people all the time. And I'm looking for that like secret weapon that job seekers can go out there, level up, and get back to their cash flow. Do you have any kind of like things that you know that, man, will you put this to work in your job search? it's pretty good. Like, it works pretty well. Any secret sauce?
You definitely want the secret sauce. So I'm going to tell you to start with your internal network.
Okay.
When you start leveraging your internal network, you're able to get opportunities that may be in that hidden job market.
So, okay, yeah, I like that. Well, this is the Who You Know
Hidden
Job
job market.
Networking show, right? So
Yeah.
So you got to use your network to uncover those hidden jobs. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you always want that alley-oop. So I was a basketball coach for a long time. So if you can get an alley-oop from an internal ally, by all means, shoot them that message and let them know, hey, I have a resume. I saw you have a position open. Can you give me that warm handoff?
I like the alley-oop. The alley-oop.
I'm gonna give you an alley-oop mic drop on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, today. No.
Oh, is that a Dikembe?
No, today. Oh, that's funny.
Most definitely. So that's the hardest part, right? You want to be able to get your resume in front of a hiring manager or a recruiter. So if you know someone who knows someone, always leverage your internal network first.
Now, I know that consistency is key, right? You got to be consistent in, like, for example, your social media and your resume, right? Or your LinkedIn and your resume. That's got to be consistent. But confidence, right? Confidence is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole different story. There are people out there who they just don't have the confidence. They're not, that's not their personality, is to be that extra, that ultra confident person. How do they overcome that? What are some things that they can do?
So the main thing I would say is to grab accountability partners. Once you have accountability partners, you're able to strategize a little differently, because you want people who are going to give you feedback. Don't get accountability partners who are just going to say, oh, you're doing great. Nah, give me the real, give me the raw. Let me know what I can fix, how I can improve. And if I am doing something that I can fix and tweak, give me the feedback. Confidence comes with consistency, as you mentioned. So if I have 4 consistent accountability partners who can help me strategize, level up, and feel more confident in the information that I'm conveying during interviews, or even committing to connecting me to their network, will allow me to build my confidence, because now people believe in me, so I can believe in myself a little more.
What do you do if you get your accountability group around you and they tell you you're trash? They're like, listen, you got a lot of room to improve. You're trash. Like, you need to pick it up, step your game up. Like, what do you do with that kind of feedback?
Well, first you shake them up a little bit, right? Like, okay, I appreciate it. I wasn't sure that was coming, but you definitely give them kudos for being honest.
Okay.
Because if I'm not getting raw feedback, I can't get better.
It's true.
Again, that's the basketball coach in me. I'm going to tell you, look, fix it. Here's how you're going to fix it. And then you ask for that constructive feedback. Like, hey, were my interviewing answers ridiculous? Did I not convey my superpowers? That way you can get actionable items.
Well, let's talk about interviews for a second. You mentioned that. So what are some interview tips that people need to be thinking of, or be careful of? Or what are some mistakes that people are making in their interviews? Anything you see?
So the first one is that if you're doing virtual interviews, make sure that you have sticky notes around your computer.
Oh, that's good.
That you have your research done.
Yeah.
You want to research the company, research the people that are interviewing you, so you know what to talk about.
That's a good one, Jessica. Can I tell you, I'm going to give you a mic drop for that, because let me just tell you something. So I do this. Listen, there's some times where I'll get an interview like on the news, okay? And I'm going on to, Channel 8 News or something like that. And I'm like, listen, I want to make sure I know what I'm going to go say, right? And I got all my stuff and I got my notes up and I'm ready to go rock and roll. You know what I mean? Because I'm prepared, right? But and it'll be a remote interview, right? So I can do that. And so
I can't see you.
Yeah, they can't see me. They don't know I'm cheating. I'm cheating so bad. But the final product looks good, okay? When it comes out on the news, it looks good.
I was going to say, Trevor's probably one of your probably biggest followers, because he holds to that. Confidence comes through consistency, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Absolutely. So you have your sticky notes, and then you also want to make sure that you breathe. a lot of the times we forget to breathe. So you're trying to spit out all this information. Nobody is going to say, hey, talk faster. I need you to come on. Never.
Ooh, that's another
Take
one.
a deep breath.
Okay, now I'm not going to say who it is, but we had a guest on this show, and they were just, and not today, by the way, but we had a guest on the show, and they were just going so fast, and they had a million mic drops in what they were saying. I mean, it was amazing. They had a billion things that I was like, but they were just going, and it's like, listen, you've got to get a pause in there for a moment to allow people to acknowledge what you've just said,
digest it,
agree with it before you move on to the next point. And so I love what you just said. You said breathe, like, you know. So I love that. It's great.
Let's talk about some
Absolutely.
of the let's talk about some of the tactical that you do, right? So finessing, resume finessing. So, I mean, most people think about the resume. They think about it as working on your resume as maybe more of a negative, right? It's something that they have to do. Like, what are some of the ways that people can maybe overcome that, and the best approaches at tailoring the resume?
Heck yeah. So now you want my cheat codes. I'll give you some of my top 3 cheat codes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just some highlights.
It's BBY, YY, BBYY.
Up, down, A, B.
Basically. But realistically, when you are tailoring your resume for a specific job, you want to make sure that you're looking at the job description and pulling out the keywords that catch your attention first, because those are the things that are going to be the buzzwords. So you have a career summary that allows you to convey basically your badass information. So if you're coming in and you are stellar at revenue increasing and growth and opportunity, make sure you highlight that in your summary. After that, you want to have a leadership snapshot or a leadership insight, highlight your high percentages, figures, and turnarounds.
Say that again.
You want to highlight your percentages, revenue, and basically your turnaround highlights.
I like that.
Because you have the initial 1/3 of your resume that somebody's going to look at. I have a short attention span. So if I'm looking at your resume, tell me what you need to say and fast.
Yeah, because ain't nobody got time for that. Look, ain't nobody got time for
Point
that.
blank, period.
I'm not trying to read all these resumes, and you need to get to the point. Let's get to it. Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second, because, all right, like Mark was saying, doing a resume and tailoring it and putting all the keywords and all that kind of stuff might be a tedious task for somebody. Like, I know it
kind
is.
of a chore, right?
It's a chore, especially if you're doing that. You know, they say you want to do it for every single job that you apply for. That can be very, very tedious. Are there any tools or techniques or anything that you do that would help someone to make it not so tedious, or to expedite it, or to be a little bit more pleasant? Or do we just gotta get our hands dirty?
So realistically, there is nothing pleasant about resumes. Let's be all the way honest.
I like that.
But
for real.
The best part is to go on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your cheat code.
Oh, okay.
When you have the job description, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it gives you the key impacts that either your profile is missing or your resume may be missing.
I love
You'll
it.
thank me later, I promise.
I like that. So it's telling you what to do. It's telling you what's missing. All you got to do is add it in there, right?
But like you said, it's tedious. But give yourself 15 minutes. Put 15 minutes on your cell phone. We all have a cell phone. 15 minutes. Find those keywords, highlight your impact, and align it with your background.
Now, okay, let's talk about that for a second. So where would you recommend someone spend more time? Okay. Would you recommend somebody spend more time on their resumes as they're applying, tailoring keywords like you were just talking about? Or would you recommend somebody spend more time networking, the back door, trying to figure out a way to go around the ATS essentially and to get a human involved? Which way would you say, hey, spend more time here?
So I'm going to go right with your show. Who you know.
Let's
Start
go.
with who you know.
Let's go.
Your network. Ask people to pass you on. Do the warm handoffs. Network. Your network is your net worth, as we all know.
I feel like we have
There
a
is
song
no
coming.
way.
network, work. What is it? Rihanna's got that work.
Yeah. Work.
Yeah. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your network is your network.
That's right. Well, okay.
There's no way.
So you got to use your network. Okay, you got to connect. Because, and here's the reason why I asked that is because I know, again, doing the resume, tailoring the resume, the keywords, all that can be kind of tedious. Can be like, ugh. And even when you do all of that, it's not guaranteed to get through to a human pair of eyes, is it?
No, not at all. And then that's where your frustration comes in with your job search.
Yeah.
You could be doing everything perfectly. But as it was mentioned earlier, consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to give yourself grace in this job search. This market is definitely hot. It's adjusting continuously, but you're not going to get the job in 24 hours that you hope, or maybe a month, maybe not 3 months.
Yeah, you
So
have.
you have to be
What's the
kind
longest
to
we
yourself.
saw, Mark? The longest we saw was like
26 months, I
26
think. Well, I
26
mean,
months.
we've got some that are by their own design on 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
but you got to
3
give yourself some
years?
grace, right?
Yeah.
That's key. That's
Yeah,
key.
a lot of
It's
the
definitely.
Jessica, a lot of the you know, senior level executives and stuff like that you know, they work their way up that corporate ladder. They get to the top, and all the way up, every rung gets more expensive. That salary gets up there, right? And then corporate America says bye bye, and they get the axe, okay?
Yeah.
And now they're trying to get back up here, right? They want that salary that they were used to. And a lot of times it can be challenging, and it takes a little bit. Not that they can't get back to that. It just takes. It can take 2 years, 3. I mean, we've seen it. It can take some time because also
Well, to get the right role, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And those high cushy salaried positions don't open up all the time either. That's the other thing is there's less of those roles out there. They don't always open up, and so it's a timing issue, and it can be challenging. So we see that sometimes.
No, you're absolutely right. And you brought up a great point. The higher you go, it is a little more challenging to be able to find those benefits that you had, to have all those perks and prizes that you're used to. So being able to have a good network helps a lot.
Well, and
patience.
And that's
and curse if you need to.
If you need to, get it out, right? Yeah. Because you can get frustrated, right? You can get frustrated. Yeah. And when that frustration happens, don't bottle it up.
Don't pout.
Get it out. Get out of your system. Do it quickly though. Don't just sit here and complain. Okay. I always say, you know, stop complaining. Start praising. Look for things that you're grateful for. Things that you are, you know, that bring you joy in your life. And it's kind of crazy when you're praising and you're grateful and you're showing gratitude. It's hard to be negative, right? You can't really do that. It just doesn't make sense. You can't really do that in a negative mindset. So it does change your mindset, which will help you to go into your interviews better. You know, you're not so negative and stinking thinking all the time.
Yeah.
Stinking thinking, that's right.
Negativity breeds negativity. Positivity breeds positivity. Talking about letting it out, right? So advocating for yourself, right, for an interview. Can you tell us what you mean? Because you've talked about that. How do you advocate for yourself in the best light possible?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people feel like they don't want to brag or boast about themselves, but this is your opportunity to speak highly of yourself, highly of your impacts and contributions. We do a lot of things day in and out in operations for a job, and we don't give ourselves credit. Give yourself credit. This is your opportunity to speak it up. There's no need to be shy or coy about your accomplishments.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by advocating for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else knows what you've contributed. Nobody else knows how you've shook things up, how you shook things up where you were.
It's okay. Listen, so you don't have to be correct around here. We can shake it up.
Think about it.
We can shake it up around here. It's all good. Listen, and I agree with you. You got to go out there and you got to tell people, hey, listen, I've done this, and this, and I'm proud of these accomplishments. And you got to be confident in the way you say it. You can't just go in there and be like, yeah, you know, I did a few things for this last company, you know, like.
Yeah, no, you got to be your best cheerleader because ain't nobody else going to do it.
Yes. You're your own champion, and steer away from the Google like descriptions. A lot of times, like, hey, I did XYZ. Okay, great. But what did you actually do?
Yeah. And then also make sure you can relate it into like your accomplishments. You can relate it into data points. Like I was able to save this company $50 billion from blah, 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 right? Like if you can tie it into dollars and cents, ultimately that's why we're in business in the first place. Think about it. What are these businesses doing? They're just out there just doing whatever they're doing for free.
Selling stuff.
They're doing something. It's there to make some dollars and cents. So what did you do that affected the bottom line for that company? You know, did you save them time? Did you save them money? How can you bring that into data points that you can say, hey, listen, I was able to save this much money for the company?
Yeah, you got to have those metrics.
Yeah, you got to have the metrics. There you go.
I'm so glad you said that, because I always tell people there are two things you have to be able to convey in your resume or cover letter: how you save money or how you make money. That's all anybody cares about.
Well, I mean, come on, let's get the cash flow.
Get back to cash flow.
Business. It's business.
It is business. Where at the end of the day, we're here to do business, and these companies want to be profitable. And so, if you can save them time or money, because time is also super valuable. Like if you could say, we were able to save the company X amount of time, right? Time is another metric that you should be able to calculate as well, because time is money.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
I've got one more question if we got time. Which was the hidden job market. Okay, so we talked about that towards the beginning. Obviously, the hidden job market is discovered through networking, through who you know, right? How do you convert that, right? What are some tips or maybe suggestions you would have to somebody who's trying to convert a relationship and something that they find in that hidden job market to an actual opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. So you see a lot of opportunities with the hidden job market on LinkedIn. So making sure that you go to the source. Sending a message. A lot of people are so hesitant to reach out, but we forget that LinkedIn is an opportunity for us to leverage conversation. So start a conversation with these individuals who are so associated with the companies that you want to work for and have the opportunities that you're looking for. So start the conversation. The worst thing anybody can tell you is no, and that's minor anyway.
Yeah, I love it. You got to have conversations with people, y'all, because if you're just applying online and hitting that button, that apply now button, you know where it's going. It's going right here, look. It's going in the trash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, your resume is going in the trash. It's going into cyberspace. You got to go get people involved. So go send a DM. Send a DM to somebody. Hey.
You get lost in the sauce. Don't get lost in the sauce.
Don't get lost in the sauce. I love it. Don't get lost in the sauce. Okay, I know we got a giveaway for the audience. You want to do your resume template. You want to hook people up and finesse their resume. So, Mark, you got a question for the audience we can ask? And how many of these we doing for the audience? We just doing one or two, or what did you want to do?
Let's do 5.
Ooh, you see that? I like that. There's power in the number 5 today. We're doing 5 today.
I'm trying to think of a good question.
Okay, so she's known as the resume finesser and the what? There's something else she's known as.
That's right.
Okay, I want to know. She talked about it. She said it. Something about breaking the table. If you can't do X at the table, you break the table.
Yeah.
So she's the finesser and the what. Okay. So while we're waiting on the answer to come back, I'm gonna give some shout outs. I see Ilya, I see Mark, I see James, I see Hope, I see Chandra in the house.
Anna Morgan.
Anna Morgan's in the house. So Anna actually introduced us.
Anna.
Yeah, Anna introduced us a while back. So shout out to Anna Morgan. I see. Okay, so Carmen says, job taker. You're close, Carmen. I see James. There it is. James Monroe says, the seat snatcher. I'm gonna give you that, but Chandra had it first. Chandra said job snatcher. So congratulations. We'll give it to all of you guys. The first 5. We're going to do that. We're going to hook you up with the resume template. And do me a big favor right now while we still have a moment or two in the house. Take a screenshot. Get your phone out. Get your...
get my good side.
Yeah. Get a Jessica and post this thing all over social media and make sure you tag her Tell her something that you learned today, and we would appreciate that.
While y'all are taking pictures, I just had a thought popped in my head, and we're talking about that hidden job market. You know the alerts that you get from your network about this person started this job and this person changed companies, and et cetera, right? That's a hidden job market.
Yes!
That is a hidden job market, right? Because you can go in and you can view that data, and then you can say, okay, this person moved from a company to here. What company did they move from? What position did they leave? Does that position still need to be filled?
Mark, that's like the smartest thing you've ever said on this show, bro. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. That's a strategy right there. Get your notifications out.
Yeah.
Right? That's great, man.
Use your notifications.
Love that. Love that. All right, guys. So what's the best way for the audience to connect with you, Jessica?
So, of course, you can add me on LinkedIn, Jessica Williams, JMW Career Consultant, or message me on my website, jmwcareerconsultant.com. Again, jmwcareerconsultant.com. I'm all over the place, so message me, and I'm always open to connect and chat.
Jessica, thank you so much for being with us today. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who ya know. Bye.
Trevor Houston here, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, educated, and entertained all at the same time. For information on our different events, workshops, partners, or partnership opportunities available, check out whoyouknow.show for more details. And be on the lookout for our new mobile app. You never know how this show could help someone you know. And if we've made an impact or put a smile on your face today, don't forget to hit that share button on your way out. Until next week, it's all about who you know. Bye.
Oh. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moved.